Welcome everyone to the first annual World Learning Lab Symposium. I am honored to have all of you here today, joining us from around the world, to discuss the latest trends and technologies in post-pandemic learning environments and programs. The symposium will provide a unique opportunity to learn about the latest technologies and trends in education, and to connect with other professionals who are passionate about enhancing the learning experience for students. As we begin this symposium, let us remember that the ultimate goal of all our efforts is to improve the education of our students. We are here to learn from each other, to share our experiences, and to work together to find new and better ways to meet the needs of our students in the 21st century.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Hawkinson. I'd like to welcome you to session number 2 of the first annual World Learning Lab Symposium in 2023. I am pre-recording this video a day before our proceedings. Tomorrow, we will be joined with a host of people here to complete workshops and in-person presentations. We're going to spend a whole day in this particular lab. It's called the MICO Space, doing different initiatives, research projects, and ways to collaborate our labs, especially using things like augmented and virtual reality. If you'd like to see more about the initiatives that we have, for example, My Hometown Project is a cultural exchange in virtual reality. Reality Labo is a augmented reality rapid prototyping tool, and other initiatives, please visit us at this website. Today, in this session, we have 7 pre-recorded presentations for you, and we will be in this room watching live with you. And if you want to join us and the discussions as you watch this live, you can have 2 choices. You can put in your questions, queries, and comments in the YouTube chat, and our presenters will be here to answer your questions and further our discussions. You can also join us in virtual reality for informal chats and other things before and after this session. You can find those links at our website, worldlearninglabs.com. We hope this is not our last event of its type, and we have a whole bunch of other initiatives. The reason we're doing this is to further the idea of open educational resources, to give more affordance to the learning spaces that we have moving towards the future, and pave a way for using new types of technology with physical spaces and connect our students around Asia and the rest of the world. So if you'd like to join this initiative, if you have a lab you'd like to connect to ours, if you're a researcher doing research around this, there are plenty of opportunities to join our community and help us pave this path forward. But for now, let's watch our fantastic array of pre-recorded presentations, from using virtual reality for nursing education to music and art education, and things like informal learning spaces like museum rubrics and other things using immersive technologies. Without further ado, here is our great curated session of presentations for the session 2 of the World Learning Lab Symposium 2023.
Our next presentation is on Virtual Museum Rubric, a tool to help non-professionals create high-quality virtual museums. The wide availability of social VR platforms has increased the potential for many people to construct and publish their own virtual museums, but creating a museum requires a range of skills. Our team has initiated work on a virtual museum rubric to enable front-end evaluation of concepts, planning, narrative, and design of virtual exhibitions. Tailored to virtual museums, this rubric is based on existing literature on physical museums and will support the production of high-quality virtual museums.
Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about virtual museum rubric that my colleagues Nishimura, Yokoyama, and I have been working on. Building physical museums can be difficult, as you need to secure an exhibition space and the object to display, and therefore this is limited to certain organizations like local governments. Recently, people have been making museums in virtual spaces, as it doesn't require buildings for exhibition space, and securing digital exhibit objects is easier than physical ones, of course. However, creating physical museums usually involves trained experts like architects, curators, exhibit designers, and museum educators. In virtual museums, on the other hand, you have to do everything. And if you don't have any trainings, then it can be difficult. On the top of that, convenient guidance for creating virtual museums is not readily available. So you have to think everything yourself. This is why we decided to create a rubric for virtual museums as a guide for non-professionals to evaluate their creations. The rubric is still work in progress. Currently, we have selected attributes for museum design. And these attributes are divided into 4 categories. The first one is about exhibition planning, such as the concept of the exhibition and target audience. The second one concerns the design of the exhibition space, including route design for visitors. The third one is about how you display the objects. And the fourth one is about graphics and text for guidance and labels. The rubric is planned to have 3-point scale and will provide descriptions for each level of performance. We are also planning to develop rubric not only for museum design, but also for museum education. However, none of us are real experts in museology, which is why we'll be asking for feedbacks from experts. We'll be also testing the rubric with existing virtual museums to see whether it is suitable for assessing the quality of virtual museums and whether it is easy to use for those who want to create their own virtual museums. Finally, we will create general best practice guide for virtual museums, which we're going to use with the rubric. We hope that rubric and the guide will accelerate the creation of virtual museums. Thank you.
Now let's take a peek at some of the experiments happening in the immersive laboratories at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies designed by Professor Eric Hawkinson. There are a ton of initiatives, both hardware, software, and learning programs to talk about.
Hi there. Welcome to the My Hometown Project station in our new MICO lab space. At this station, you will take, curate, and learn how to create virtual tours using virtual reality, web-based virtual reality, and hopefully contribute a tour of your hometown to our growing list database of virtual tours to have cultural exchange, virtual travel, and other types of endeavors to get our students more connected. What you do, quite simply, is come over to this touch screen here, and you can zoom in on different locations in the map, touch on a pin, and take a tour. You can use the touch screen to start the tour here. You can use the touchscreen to zoom around and touch buttons and hotspots to get to know different places. And when you're done taking a tour, just hit the return to map and either take another tour or share or start to take and make your own virtual tour, which I'm hoping a lot of you will do while you have some time with us here. We'd love to see some more tours from different places around the world and hopefully start integrating this with our labs and students moving forward in the future. Have fun at the My Hometown Project station today.
Welcome to my hometown of Fushimi, Kyoto.
And welcome to my hometown. My hometown is Kotagede, a sub-district south of Yogyakarta City.
Welcome to my hometown, Malacca, Malaysia.
Welcome to my hometown, Uzi City.
My hometown, Mekosti.
In Palembang, South Sumatra.
Oh, welcome to my hometown.
This is Hyostasha Shrine.
My hometown is Moriyama City, Shiga Prefecture.
Good evening, everyone. We are from the University of the Philippines Open University, and we are going to present our project entitled Development of a Web-Based Related Learning Experience for Nursing Students in an Open University. Let's start with the background of the study. The suspension of classes due to the pandemic has presented students, educators, and administrators with a multitude of extraordinary challenges. A few weeks after the lockdown in the Philippines, the Commission on Higher Education issued an advisory allowing higher education institutions to deploy available flexible learning and alternative modes of delivery. The goal of these memorandums was to encourage students to continue learning despite the ongoing pandemic. But even with the innovations made by Philippine education institutions, there are still challenges and concerns. Nursing educators struggle to find ways to transfer knowledge to their students, particularly in giving critical clinical experience. Students' clinical practicum is an important aspect of nursing education and is commonly referred to as related learning experiences. RLE is unique to the nursing discipline like other health-related professions because it applies theories, knowledge, and learning acquired during classroom discussions, and establishes nursing students' healthcare skills under the direct supervision of professional clinical instructors and nurses. The focus group discussion conducted during the initial phase noted that finding a learning material was one of the many challenges that these educators have experienced. They have to think of alternative ways to deliver their learning objectives, at the same time improvise materials that are patterned to their manuals. Preparing these materials was difficult for them because of different factors, such as lack of time and funding. Connectivity was also a problem during the transition. The Philippines' average internet speed is much slower compared to other neighboring countries. Educators were also emotionally and mentally drained because of the sudden transition to online learning. The objectives of the study. The purpose of the study is to develop a web-based RLE design that provides students with an alternative activity for clinical learning experiences without the use of computer-generated imaging and a useful platform where they can see a 360-degree view of various clinical setups and simulations.
The study utilized the Successive Approximation Model, or SAM, developed by Dr. Michael W. Allen. This model employs rapid prototyping as its methodology and considered an alternative to more conventional models such as ADDIE. The project, like SAM, is also divided into phases. In the preparation phase, needs were assessed. Program scripts and other product requirements were also created. During the iterative design phase, video shootings, system design, and the platform for the web-based RLE were planned and developed. After the final shooting was conducted, videos were edited and rendered. At the same time, the IT team is improving the system design for the prototype stage, which is the development of the web-based system. The project is currently in its iterative development phase, with the program faculty members implementing the prototype in their classes. Evaluation shall be done after the semester. For the methodology, we employed a quasi-experimental research design to develop the web-based RLE. The researchers explored the challenges that the nursing educators experience and use it as the basis for the development of the web-based RLE to implement to the nursing students. The participants were faculty members and students from the Master of Arts in Nursing program in an open university who struggled with their teaching and learning objectives for related learning experience during the pandemic. The first phase is needs assessment, where we evaluated and critiqued the existing academic solutions implemented in the first semester of academic year 2020 to 2022 to address the concerns. The researchers developed case studies for each specialty and templates for the writing of the simulations program scripts. The case study template contains the title, focus area, scenario description, scenario objectives, setting, required equipment, and scenario implementation.
After the conceptualization phase, during which case studies for each specialty, adult health nursing, maternal and child nursing, gerontology and geriatric nursing, and nursing administration were identified, the scripts were written in subsequent online meetings via Zoom. We also identified team members such as the director, editor, graphic designers, and actors. There was a pre-conference wherein nursing experts advised on scene execution. Before filming, the team rehearsed and tested the camera angles. The final filming of each case scenario took place at a tertiary hospital, which effectively portrayed a nursing station and the hospital facilities needed for the courses. The study requires the 360-degree camera to familiarize students with various medical settings. The team edited and rendered the simulation videos from final shootings to upload it to the respective YouTube channel, as it does not hinder the website's performance since handling 360-degree videos is different from the regular videos.
It is because a 360 camera uses two lenses that shoot 180-degree field of view each. Then the 360 camera will have to stitch those videos that are taken from the two lenses so that the final one is seen as a 360 video. With this, the team explores different video players such as the Video.js, Player, and Clapper, which are open source video players that supports 360 videos, to know which is appropriate for the site. At the end, the team considered YouTube as this is a known video platform on the web and it supports a 360 format. We also designed the web-based related learning experience online platform that caters teachers and students separately. Students can view and review videos and answer questions for all courses they are enrolled in. Teachers can give access to students, navigate class lists, study descriptions, supplementary files, and links. Teachers can upload and edit videos, video thumbnails, and questions on every video seen.
The authors are currently implementing and monitoring the web-based RLE. Evaluation shall follow, which will be participated by students enrolled during the second semester and faculty members. This shall be done using the use survey. There will also be a post-conference to conduct a SWOT analysis and appraise the program using the feedback from the users.
So for the benefits of the web-based RLE design, first, it is highly beneficial that the students and teachers participating in the study have prior experience with online and remote learning. Since the team decided to conduct the video in hospital setting, it promotes learning in the actual environment. Another advantage is that it allows students to learn practical knowledge without exposing patients to any risk. The web-based RLE design will help the students to test their theoretical knowledge and also practice clinical skills to mastery, since repetition of process is possible with simulations. As a result of the web-based RLE design's incorporation of real-world context, learners can complete the learning process by reflecting on their performance. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Now let's take a peek at some of the experiments happening in the immersive laboratories at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies designed by Professor Eric Hawkinson. There are a ton of initiatives, both hardware, software, and learning programs to talk about.
Hi there, and welcome to the station for using WebVR and digital twin environments. Here we're going to start experimenting and thinking about ways to get avatars in virtual space in virtual learning environments to coexist, intermingle, and collaborate with those in a physical space. And so what we're seeing here is a bunch of spaces that I have designed, one of which, what we're looking at now, is a digital replica of a real space here on campus at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies. Explore the space. Think about, you can see some exhibits, some presentations, some links, some 3D models, and a couple of kind of scavenger hunt type activities. Also, if you want to come over here to a couple of other tabs here, with my company, Together Learning, we have a variety of other virtual environments, research papers, and other activities that I've used the same concept with. So please explore, enjoy, and be prepared to discuss your thoughts and ideas about it. Welcome to the virtual learning environment and digital space section. Here in our VR lobby for immersive tourism workshop. Got some students looking around the area. This is a lobby, basically, VR lobby. And if you come into this space, it allows you to have a place where you can talk and be sent on virtual tours curated by people who grew up in towns all over Japan. So you can see these posters on the wall. You click on them, and then you get sent to the cities that those posters represent. So Arashiyama, that's actually very close to the university from which these students are taking classes in, Kyoto University of Foreign Studies. So I'm going to, by this Kana Seno-san, I'm going to open the link and get sent to a VR tour. It's narrated.
Welcome to my hometown, Arashiyama. Arashiyama is famous as a sightseeing spot. I spent time with this beautiful view since I was a junior high school student. In sunny day, I went to here with my friend. We feel nature and relax.
That's great. So you can explore these sites. There's different scenes inside of here. You can click on things and see the points of interest in all of these locations.
There are many cherry blossoms. In summer, there are cool green leaves. In autumn, there are beautiful autumn leaves. In winter, there are great views covered by snow. Arashiyama has many faces by 4 seasons.
Okay. We'll go to another scene here. This is all very famous
about Togetsukyo Bridge. Togetsukyo is big bridge and very historic. This bridge gained the name from the state that full moon crossed the bridge. This bridge is used title of a song by Japanese singer. This bridge is more beautiful when you see this bridge with seasonal scenery.
Right, and I can anytime come back to the lobby and take another tour. Actually, there might be some students in here as well. Who is this? How's about the song? Maybe taking a tour here. And you could actually interact with some of the students in this space as well.
We are excited to present the next topic of discussion, which is the use of metaverse technology in language education. This virtual world, known as the metaverse, has the potential to revolutionize the way we learn and interact with each other. The presentation will focus on how virtual reality platforms can provide students with 360 degrees environments and 3D objects for language acquisition that mimic the contextual, emotional, and visual information-rich environments of first language learning, which can be particularly beneficial for second language learners. This session will give you an inside look at setting up language classes in a virtual environment and aims to help educators think about how to create immersive learning experiences that work together to create the best possible experience.
Hi, I'm Amelia Ejili, and today I'd like to share a video of behind-the-scenes teaching in virtual reality. This was a video I made when I taught a 5-week course through Victory XR with students who were located in Canada and the United States learning Japanese. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Amelia Ejili, and today I'd like to give you a behind-the-scenes tour of teaching in virtual reality. So welcome to my classroom. This class is Introduction to Japanese with a lot of manga and anime influences. So one thing I like to do when I welcome students to my classroom is to have them choose a manga magazine cover that they can pick up and talk with their friends about why it's their favorite issue. So let me show you how this works. So here are the manga magazine covers all around the classroom. Students are invited to look around, choose one that they would like to talk about, and they can actually pick this up. They can make it bigger or smaller and have it in their hand while they discuss their favorite manga magazine series. And that's how that works. The next thing I'd like to show you is actually where I conduct class. And again, objects are available right at your fingertips to have different setups. So today, I'd like to take you to my setup where I have a pot of tea waiting for us. Let's go over there and check it out. You can see it on the right side under the blossoming cherry blossom tree, where I've set up some benches and some tea to try to immerse the students in their study of the Japanese language. And again, here you can help yourself to some tea, some teapot. You can also use traditional conventions of a classroom. For example, here is a presentation board where I'm able to load up my media for today's class. And there you can flip through your regular deck of slides as you would in a regular classroom with this beautiful environment to welcome the students. One of the things that's really useful to do when you're teaching in a classroom like this is the ability to have a 3D pen at your fingertips to create objects. For example, today I'd like to talk about my dog. So I'm going to draw a very basic little sketch of my animal that I can share with the students and that we'd all be able to take for a walk. And now my dog's looking more like a rabbit, but I'm hoping you get the idea what it's like to be able to draw in virtual reality and share this little animal. And there he goes for a walk. He could come in. The other students would be able to take him for a walk. But not only this kind of object, but when you're teaching nouns, the ability to draw an apple or banana on demand as you need it is a really fun part of teaching in an immersive environment. The other thing that we can do is have a total response to the vocabulary and the learning. For example, recently we were working on our numbers 1 through 10. So we decided to watch a video that would help us with the rhythm and somewhat of the speed of counting in Japanese. So this video is an authentic video from the internet with an actual karate instructor here teaching us karate moves. And this is something that works great in virtual reality. Okay. There we go, warming up. Shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach. Great. So you can see how that works, and that really is a lot of fun to be able to get up and move during class, which is actually what we were doing the other day with the stepping stones over here. And using our teleport, we were able to jump from stone to stone. And we were practicing the counting that we just learned. When students forgot the numbers, it was a really easy click of a button to go ahead and load up those flashcards for them, as you can see them coming here in the sky. So while we were jumping around from stone to stone, we can practice our numbers. The other fun thing we did was write Japanese, and we learned the stroke order for some easy Japanese counting kanji from 1 to 10. And with our 3D pen that you saw before, we were actually able to draw here in midair the different numbers. And there's number 5, of course, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And we were practicing drawing these right in midair. We can also do it on a board. But we were having just a lot of fun. And I haven't even told you my favorite part of teaching in VR that always gets the encore. I'm going to show you that now. Let's go check it out. And here we are. It's a virtual field trip where we actually immerse ourselves right here, go with a click of a button into a Japanese environment. Great, and welcome. We're here at Fushimi Inari, which was rated the #1 shrine in Kyoto on TripAdvisor for many years in a row. At the entrance gate is a fox. And when my students come in an environment like this, we're surrounded completely with our country of our target language, the sights, the sounds. We can hear chatter in the background. On the left is a convenience store, and there's already been a request to have a survival Japanese lesson at the convenience store. I'm jumping ahead. This is also a great place where you can go through the etiquette to visit a shrine. You can stop the video, practice some vocabulary, practice the grammar structures for everyday tasks or survival Japanese. But we haven't even been to the main part of this shrine, which is absolutely picturesque. And here we are walking through the tories of Fushimi Inari Shrine. I'd like to thank you for coming along with my behind-the-scenes tour of teaching Intro to Japanese in a virtual reality setting. I'd like to leave you here underneath the beautiful tories of Fushimi Inari Shrine, and I'm going to take a selfie and say goodbye. Thanks for having me.
All right, maybe you can tell that this is a little bit different video. That's because I am using a green screen area, station #1, here in our laboratory space. Now, this is a quick kind of pop-up studio type situation. If we walk around the other side, this is connected to Reality Labo. It's an augmented reality app that you might be using right now. One side is for collecting augmented items, and the other side is for actually recording them, which I'm doing now, and I might turn back into green screen in just a moment here. So, as you might try to create your own project using Reality Labo, please use this green screen because the effect turns your video into a sprite and a chroma keyed video. Worked really hard on this feature, and it looks a lot more immersive. And you can have what looks like holograms appearing in physical spaces to guide people on tours, experiential gaming environments, all things that we'll talk about here at our symposium. So try it out.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kamran Mir. I'm doing my PhD from NUST and currently working at Allama Iqbal Open University as Assistant Director IT. My area of research is educational technology, and I have several publications related to educational technology, and I'm an active member of Moodle User Association and ICTE. The project idea is related to education, and it is Interactive Moodle Madrasa. Talim Sabke Liye is just not a slogan of Punjab province, but in fact, it is a universal declaration of human rights according to Article 26 by United Nations that everyone has the right to education. And education shall be free at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Technical and professional education shall be made generally available according to United Nations. According to the Quality Education UN Sustainable Development Goal number 4, it is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and prompt lifelong learning opportunities for all. So, what's the problem? Is everyone getting the education? The answer is no. There are around 60 million illiterate people in Pakistan. And only in Pakistan, there are around 22 million children who are out of school. Even if we look at the regional comparison, we are lacking behind. And even if you look at the progress towards this goal globally, according to United Nations, there will be around 200 million children still be out of school in 2030. So, what's the solution? If you want to give education to the masses, our formal education system is not enough. The conventional distance learning is quite slow. So the only remaining option is left, which is the online learning, which is quite fast, which is approachable through different mediums. But still, the question there, along with a lot of benefits of online education, the question is of the quality. According to Markov, it lacks effective interaction, there's a sense of isolation, and it lacks the active learning. So, what is the solution? Here comes my solution or idea or product, which is Interactive Moodle Madrasa, which is based on an open source learning management system, which is Moodle, which uses H5P interactive module. Using this platform, you can create interactive and engaging learning content in localized with localized features. It can have offline course access to those areas where the internet access is low, or so the students can download the content offline, and a lot of other features: active learning, usability, and AI-based learning analytics, in which students can interact with the content and it will become an engaging content. So, coming back to the conclusion, as an initial implementation, I have suggested it should be implemented on the Madaris students. According to the Ministry of Education, Directorate General of Religious Education, DGRE, there are around approximately 3 million students in Pakistan who are enrolled around in 35,000 Madaris. And if we launch this project, so it will be correlate with the objectives of DGRE to mainstream all the Madaris and to facilitate them to enhance their national harmony, peace, stability, socio-economic development in the country by creating the localized learning content in Punjabi, Pashto, Sindhi, or we can use the recorded existing lectures as well, and make them interactive. So the Madaris student can access the course offline using mobile app, and it will increase the learning interactivity and AI-based learning, and it will be a very good option. So the possible partners could be the virtual university, and the business model is you can even charge 150 rupees per month. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
this section for discovering augmented reality is connected to our new age immersive learning laboratories or environments. I've created this app to help us kind of visualize and think about augmented reality as it applies to physical spaces, and a rapid prototyping tool called Reality Labo. Pick up this device that's connected to this TV, point it at anything, and watch what pops up. Let's see if I can get that right. This is what's called 3D Spaces. I've got some cards over here on this table here, and you can create your own project, connect your own videos, 3D models, and create all types of stuff, which hopefully you might be using now. So please experiment with Reality Labo here at this station. You can also point it at this wall and see different things pop up in the projects. What you'll do here is start the app. You can download it on Android or iOS. Just search for Reality Labo and load a project and start scanning away. Enjoy.
Hi there, Eric back again, your learning futurist. I have in my hand here a playing card, the Ace of Spades, and I can show you the cover of it right here. It's one of my new projects, but if I put a digital layer on top of it, you can see that some digital contents are being tracked in real time and displayed on top of it. It's all about connecting digital things to real things. It's a new app that I've developed, and it's an old project that I'd like to share with you in this video using augmented reality in educational contexts, and it's called the Before I Graduate project. And it's all about using augmented reality in learning context. This app I developed 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's been updated and revived for other kinds of educational context. And the Before I Graduate project was an excellent case use that I had in this old version, which is getting new life in this new version. So, in this video, augmented reality in informal learning environments with Reality Labo, coming right up. All right, so the Before I Graduate project started in roughly 2017 and was using an app. I was developing a whole bunch of case uses in augmented reality, mostly in informal learning environments, student projects, enhanced textbooks, and all types of other stuff. You can find more about it on my website and even learn about using some of these things at togetherlearning.com, where I've developed a bunch of courses, learning materials, and other things to help us get to know a little bit more about the blending of digital things and real things for education and so many other things. Right, so the goal of this project, the Before I Graduate project, was to see if augmented reality had some affordances, had some use, had some value in helping people communicate using a public space to share ideas through more immersive media, maybe to tell stories through video and other things when you're not physically with each other. That was the whole goal, kind of an experiment in new media in informal learning environments. So what I did is I got some inspiration. Many of you know I'm big into TED. Candy Chang has one of my favorite TED Talks, and she has a TED Talk based on a project she did called Before I Die, where she would take abandoned houses in New Orleans that were left after the fleeing of many, many people during the Katrina hurricanes, and would put basically chalkboards on them and let the community members write a message to anyone and everyone about something they'd like to accomplish, some dream, some hope, some aspiration to do before they die. And it became this kind of community art space. Everyone got to contribute a voice to what would normally be a part in the neighborhood that would be unsightly, unused, maybe even slightly unsafe. So through these spaces, community members were freely writing messages and started to interact with each other without even actually having to physically be together. And this idea I've kind of taken out and kind of tried to up the ante, I guess, in many ways, and just trying to add more messages through different kinds of media, because not only these people are walking by and giving messages for then everyone else to read and hear, you can get a collective sense of the neighborhood and togetherness through these messages, but what if there were videos and audio and other things that could be added to this wall digitally, and we can use that through the power of augmented reality. So of course, this was aspirational to me to try and do something similar. So I tried this with my students. So I put my students through a project. They were to think of a goal, a dream, a wish, not before they died, but before they graduated from university. They wrote an essay to kind of come down on their idea and their hope and think about it a little more deeply. And from that, they produced a 1-minute video about their hope and dream and aspiration. And they wrote a message on a public space in one of the lobbies of our university. And with this augmented reality app, their messages, their video testimonials got to be connected to that space, much like your messages were connected to that space in the Before I Die project from Candy Chang. And so now this is where my application Reality Labo comes in, where we're using this particular application to connect digital things like video and audio to this physical space. The first iteration of it looked like this. It was just paper taped up onto the wall. Before I graduate, you can come and grab a marker and a sticker, slap the sticker onto the wall, and write your message. There was also a tablet in the corner where you can then pick up and start, if there was a message that you found that you connected to, you wanted to know a little bit more about, and passed along that sticker, that image, much like the card you saw in the demo of this project here. Something would pop up, a message from that student, and you would hear from them. And from there, if you even felt a little more deeply wanted to connect, the app would then, if both students were open to it, send message to each other, encourage each other on their journeys, their missions, their goals, etc., etc. So there became this kind of community aspirational space for the students to learn some goals that their fellow students were doing, some ideas and some things that students could find out about each other, support each other, and hopefully it became a way to connect with students that they might not normally connect with in a classroom setting. So I think augmented reality actually helped in this situation because you can see their faces, you can choose which data to and videos to watch, and it connected all of these things to that physical space. You could not watch these videos or see these things unless you were physically there. And also that has some impact on it as well. Later on in the project, the wall actually came down. So the space went away, but the data was still left over. And I'll show you a little bit more about this. So here's a screenshot of what it looks like. My dream and aspiration was for other students to complete their goals and dreams and aspirations. And I made a video, and this is a screenshot from the phone's view of seeing a message for me at that physical space, give a message, and connect it to this wall using the application. So it looks a little bit like this. If I'm going to show you a little bit about maybe how it looks. So you put your phone up to the wall, you can see a couple of things. Video pops out of the wall. This is a demo at South by Southwest in 2018 or 2019, I believe. So we're looking at some video content about the Before I Graduate project. And as you look at different stickers on the wall through the application, different videos would pop up. One good thing about this became kind of a semi-private way also to share video content. It's connected to that physical space. It's connected to that physical thing. It's not uploaded to anywhere on the internet for everyone to see, or even on a website which you can share. Of course, if it's on a cell phone, people can do a screen grab or things like that. But it's slightly more private, slightly more secure, and locked into the location on campus. You actually have to physically be there. You're connecting these voices to that physical space, which has, I think, some value in it as well, even though this project can show that now those physical things that were connected to that place can be transported to a new area and also ultimately end up on the web should the students agree with it. Right, so the wall's gone. The students really enjoyed the project, so it became more or less a book. I have the book right here. And this was in 2017. And so all of their essays, all of their videos are now connected through the app and now printed in this book. So you have to have the physical book, you have to have the app, and you have to have access to the thing inside the app. So it's, again, fairly private. And so the students, if they so wish, could grab a copy of this book in the library or in an archive, or maybe get a copy from me somehow, or get it online and look at all of their wishes and aspirations and hopes and dreams. Maybe before they physically graduate or actually graduated, could come back and check their stories. You can actually see a demo of this through the lens of augmented reality, perhaps.
Otherwise known as the
right. So now
Before
the
I
video
Graduate
that would
project.
be on the physical wall.
This
telling
project
you
has the
about
goal
project
of
is actually
having
on the
students
physical
share their
textbook.
aspirations,
So now
their goals,
things that
their
were once
dreams
connected to a wall
of something
are now connected
important to
to a
them
book
to accomplish
and
before.
trapped with a physical object. What value does that have? It's semi-private. It's connected to a physical object. Think about this. Boomers might recognize this feeling of actually connecting music to the lyrics in a CD or an album cover or something like that. There's something about that. There's something of value of that, and it has some inherent other properties that go along with connecting physical things, reading from physical things in physical books, and adding additional video content to it. Right, so this project is ongoing. You can actually download the Reality Labo application and find it at togetherlearning.com. I actually have a demo here, which I could show you quickly before I move on. Let's see here if I can get this down. You can see my messy desk. You can see that I have my tablet here showing you what's going on down here, and you can see the physical book, which I've kind of have the book here. I'll put this down here and the video might pop up right there. See? So this is the view you can see here through the physical app, and it's showing the old version of what you might see.
Hello there.
In the physical.
I'm Eric,
in the textbook.
and I'd like to introduce to you a project that we're doing here at the University of Fukushima called the Before I Graduate project.
Close this and added another one here. Here is another student and their particular.
I have to have 3 qualifications before I graduate because they need very useful and be advantage when find my job action. Also when university students.
Right, Reality Labo. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do with it. This is just one case study. It's called the Before I Graduate project, and we're going to be opening this up to everyone on a larger scale, and hopefully being able to see what this might have as far as affordance of sharing dreams and aspirations and connecting physical places in different places around Japan and hopefully the world. If you're interested, please give me a mail or a message or visit togetherlearning.com. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
I'm Daniel Vandersmissen or Daniel Pungku.
As an artist, I usually operate under the auspices of the IGECC, Intergalactic Recognized Cleaning Company, an imaginary firm within which I framed my artistic activities. January 2023, my current main occupation is creating visual and audiovisual art. I retired September 2020, before I was a pedagogical advisor for part-time art education, mainly visual and audiovisual arts, in Flanders, Belgium, Europe. In this presentation, I explain the intersection of art and virtual reality in the context of virtual worlds of Sansra. Art can be created using both analog and digital means. In my artwork I focus on visual art whether or not in combination with other art forms such as sound, movement, film, and text. In Sansra I did my own experiments with bringing both digital and analog artworks into virtual spaces and by creating installations and virtual movement in those worlds. That way I created 7 virtual worlds that can be visited by everyone in VR, on desktop or other devices. My digital artwork is created by using freeware, Blender, Sculpture VR, GIMP, XP Pen. My analog work is constructed with cardboard, paint, paper, textiles, waste, and whatever material I can find. And of course to create a video or photo I use a digital camera, screen recording, smartphone and so on. The first experiment was Walk Part 1 in which I partially used and rearranged one of the template skyboxes with associated ground cover, vegetation and rocks. Additionally, I added simple objects and vehicles in mostly striking colors. I also used this environment to show my drawings, photos, paintings alongside virtual tryouts of new installations not yet executed in real life or cumbersome, difficult to realize. I made the same choice to use the virtual environment to show my work from real life combined with simulations and imaginary objects for the 2 following worlds, Part 2 and 3. Moreover, for the benefit of the visitor, I placed drivable vehicles and touring objects in every world. And to enable a smooth passage to one of my 7 worlds, I also installed numbered transport gates each time. Here in my second Sansra world, the visitor is presented with a virtual walk, in real life as a real walk, but there also with virtual works of art. The skybox shines over the surroundings with a warm soft glow like a setting evening sun. The photos of the virtual works of art are placed on large boards along the walking route. At the start of the walk, a text explains the project on a glass wall with a hyperlink leading to a digital publication with additional poems, texts and directions so that you can also experience this walk virtually in real life. In the third world you see a skybox with a clear sky above a large lake surrounded by mountains. The decoration is sober with some rocks and an open grassy plain with some small hills. A touring flying rock, accessible by a floating elevator, flies over the landscape with its passenger, offering you an unusual view of the objects from a full flight perspective. This world is littered with mostly impossible installations where objects hang or move in the air. World 4 is the most expansive world bathed in the dim light of a Mars skybox. This imaginary environment includes several interconnected areas next to and below or above each other. The building-like constructions appear to be made of glass. Through this room are corridors and a tube system like a maze where you can run, be carried along on one of the many vehicles or through which you can fly with an object that you can control. Here and there you will find various objects, a strange vehicle museum and rotating propellers. Numerous moving objects, flickering or flashing lights and elevators going up and down give the impression of a busy space station. On the fifth world you live in the universe, in and around a spaceship. The interior and contents of the ship are based on and inspired by the Biomod 13 project of the SEDS Collective in Bruges, Belgium in 2021. The interior space is a simplified imitation of the long and high historic exhibition hall with heavy oak beams in the St. John's Hospital. The ship looks sober, empty and deserted and has 2 elevators with which you can move to the lower deck. The same desolate feeling predominates all around, on the outside of the spaceship. Here too you will find a few moving objects in the outer space and a space taxi in which you can take a seat for a tour around the spaceship. All vehicles and objects, including the skybox, are self-made in this other world, the 6th one. There is an intimate atmosphere due to the warm colors and the mostly curved shapes. The textures and patterns on the rounded volumes are predominantly floral motifs. The alternation between fully and partially transparent layers offers a surprising view of the skin-colored skybox. As a visitor here you are immersed in a slowed-down world that gently revolves around you. Just like in the previous worlds, you can also take a seat in a vehicle for a round trip. This time you have the choice between a slow short ride or a longer, somewhat faster route. The self-controllable driving objects, sitting balls, and the transport doors to the other 6 worlds are virtually invisible in this world and thus force the visitor to a wandering search. In addition to an intense sense of peace and quiet, this world also gives an impression of disorientation and being trapped in an unpredictability of patterns and color areas. Sitting in one of the 2 vehicles, the tour seems to catapult you uncontrollably through a relentless matter only to be abruptly placed back into a state of forced immobility at the end of the ride. I see this world as a living organism that continues to grow and change calmly, even more than my other Sansar worlds. This 7th world is a simulation and experimentation environment for exhibitions in virtual and/or real space. The gates have been placed in the center of the square and a little further on you can see a freestanding tree with a full crown under a cloudy sky. The structures around the large courtyard are formed by stringing together copies of the same indoor exhibition space, alternately mirrored. As in some of the other virtual worlds, the construction here is a simplification of an existing building. One of my artworks in real and in virtual life. Some galleries created by other creators in Sansar. The Everyone's Art Gallery. And the Delmarva Gallery. 3 of my creations made in Sculptor VR. The use of virtual environments as a learning place, for art, is in fact the same as in a real-life learning environment. For art education that means, the process of generating ideas, using visual language, and developing a frame of reference, the use of the dialogue, going through a process, the connection with the result and giving the art product a place. Virtual spaces can be used as a 3D self-study place with instructions and tutorials. For example, a step-by-step plan on information boards as you can see in Sansar Training Grounds 101. You also can use manuals, demonstrations and assignments on a video screen, with or without the live explanation, in VR, of a teacher, avatar, or guide. To get an idea of the possibilities you can visit, Digital University, main entrance. And the Sansar World, virtual and augmented reality to enhance learning and teaching in higher education, created by Swansea University, for a roundtable on 28th of November 2018. The realizations and evolutions in my artwork I make visible on Instagram and a website. With openness to dialogue and collaboration. Any interest? Just let me know.
Presenting our research project titled Enterprise Architecture for the Appraisal and Taxation of a Real Property with Geospatial Information System, a segment framework. Together with me are my co-authors, King Sus Byong, Kimberly Magsino, and Patrick Regunton. Background of the study. The market value of a real property is based on the city's prevailing value. This is governed by its rules and regulations for classification, appraisal, and assessment pursuant to the local government code provisions. Taxes imposed by local government unit, whether direct or indirect compulsory payment, raise revenue and has direct impact on production and consumption. One of the government's mandate is not just to collect taxes, but also to assess the property value. It is important to identify the assessment level to determine the taxable value of a property based on the fair market value percentage. This study aims to design and develop an enterprise architecture for appraisal and taxation of a real property to ensure accurate assessment and prevent losses in tax collection of local government units through a centralized system.
There are numbers of already established enterprise architecture frameworks in use today. Some of these frameworks were developed for very specific areas, whereas other have broader functionality. TOGA focuses on rules for developing good principles rather than providing a set of architecture principles. While the Department of Defense Architecture Framework is an architecture framework designed for United States Department of Defense that provides visualization infrastructure for specific stakeholders. Concerns through viewpoints organized by various views. The TAF or the Treasury Enterprise Architecture Framework was published in July 2000 by the Department of the Treasury. TAF can be described in terms relative to the Zachman framework, for example, perspective and views. The four perspectives are the same as in the Zachman framework, and the FAF matrix, with exception that TAF combines the builder and subcontractor into one. Also, the TAF information view corresponds to the TAF data architecture. The TAF functional view corresponds to the FAF applications architecture, and the TAF infrastructure view corresponds to the FAF technology architecture. FAF does not currently reflect to the TAF organizational view. This view shows the type of workers and the organizational structures. TAF allows the flexibility to define additional views and perspective that focus uniquely on areas important to specific stakeholders. Its aim is to facilitate integration, information sharing, and exploitation of common requirements across the federal agencies.
We decided to follow Zachman framework as it appears to be the most comprehensive one in terms of viewpoints related to different aspects, as it provides whole enterprise overview. Most of other frameworks represents only small number of viewpoints related to different aspects of the enterprise. Some of them does not clearly map the ideas to rows and columns, unlike Zachman. So here, what pertains to data on what the data is used in the enterprise, how pertains to function, and how to translate the organization's mission into business operation success. Who pertains to people on who are the related major facts of the organization, business process information and information technology. Higher level cells pertains to organization units. Lower level pertains to user of the system. The where pertains to network. This is the geographical location of the organization's distribution of activities and artifacts. The when pertains to time. This defines the timeline related and evolves to organization's artifacts. The why pertains to motivation. This translates goals and objectives into actions. As it is shown here, the first row provides us the view of the overall scope of the enterprise. The second row, creating artifacts that describes the enterprise model. The fourth row is used to build the artifacts that describes the technology model. The fifth row is used to create artifacts that describes the system on its current state. And the last row here gives us a view on the details of the actual functioning system based to develop enterprise architecture for appraisal and taxation of real property using a more simplistic view of the frame. Our research design and methodology, data collection analysis and tools for the Zachman framework based on the real property appraisal and taxation process. The secondary data is the existing data that we collected, the standard operating procedures documents, the business process documents, and we conducted interview and observation. The software tools we used are Map Info software for GIS. The front end is Vue.js, the back end is Laravel, and the database is MySQL.
Property appraisal and taxation system. In this slide shows the transaction flows of the property appraisal and taxation system. There are four main divisions: records, tax map, appraiser, and taxpayer. This is the landing page of the system. This tax map module integrates a two system, ARPITAS and tax map, which locate the properties of the tax declaration. In assessment record module shows all the tax declaration records of the city. This ARPITAS role module shows the complete details of the tax declaration of the real property. In this module shows all the tax declaration that were scanned and digitized. It is divided by series and organized by zone, barangay, and tax declaration number. In the first part of the perspective of the planner explains one of the business process of the property appraisal and taxation system. 1. This column describes the data presented from the planner's point of view. From the analysis of this data consists of tax map data, ARPITAS data, scanned document files, appraiser, encoders. How? This column explains the analysis of the process of appraiser, searching the properties in Manila, and encoders encoding the necessary details of digitized document. Where? This column describes the location of place of Department of Assessment, which is easily and safely accessed. Who? This column describes the human resources that plays an important role in the process of searching properties and coding tax declaration. When? This column discusses the events or schedule new and old tax declaration that has been scanned or created. Why? This column describes the vision and mission of the Department of Assessment that distinguish it from property appraisal and taxation courses. In this point of view, we'll describe the details of the function and detailed explanation of the new property appraisal and taxation system, making it easier for users and managers to run the system. A draft is produced from the data from ARPITAS data of Department of Assessment. In this column, we'll show the example of the result of connecting ARPITAS and tax map data that the appraiser to see all the details in one process. Location. This column explains the need for network infrastructure that will be used by the appraiser and administrative information system and encoders at Department of Assessment. Organization. This column discusses users who will use the system of property appraisal and taxation system. Schedule. This column discusses the system design and implementation schedule. Strategy. Discuss the standard operation procedure in using the property system. It is expected that can run optimally. Conclusion. The developed enterprise architecture for the appraisal and taxation of property ensures accurate assessment and prevent losses in tax collection of local government units. Enable local governments unit to manage and control the enterprise architecture change. And last, contributes to alignment and improvement of the business and IT process of real property appraisal and taxation. The recommendations are transition of data from on-premise to cloud for online service. Develop mobile application for taxpayer and to appraiser. faster mapping, and data integration of TaxMap and ARPIDAS. Thank you for listening.
Thanks to all
Konnichiwa, watashi wa Jiro desu. I am Gilles from the University of Toulouse in France. Mathematic is a science that studies the relationships between math and music. We have a worldwide society and meet each 2 years together in real life. I'm personally specialized in visualization of harmonic structures. The Mathematical Virtual Museum is an interactive virtual experience that we have premiered last year in the Museum of Design in Atlanta, Georgia. It features 360 videos and models made by fellow mathematicians. The collection is intended to grow. Newton was not only the greatest alchemist of all times, but also the father of calculus, optics and mechanics. He was the first to associate chromatism in terms of colors and in terms of tone height. In his sense is an extension of what would have been his circle, extended to our actual scale, that is a 12-tone chromatic scale. Jacques Darafet was a very famous mathematician. He created a cube dance. This place is a memorial as a tribute to him. The Möbius strip has only one side. We have just arranged the 12 notes on the strip. It's not musically interesting, but it enables you to have a ride on a strip, like a hunt. Maria Manone had the idea to customize a Rubik's Cube by embarking electronics, optical recognition, to play music with live orchestra or musician. The system produces chords, music, timbres, and we hear the tones that are played on the top face in this virtual reality counterpart. The first dimension is not time, it is an Euclidean dimension, like in a quaternion. We have based our model on this system since year 2000. Each pitch class has 2 dimensions and can be embedded on a torus or, in this case, a hypersphere. An Hamiltonian path is a path that goes through each chord once and only once. Giovanni Albini composed the music following one Hamiltonian path. The Planet 4D family is a set of hypersphere-based mathematical models that I've initiated in 2000. It was the subject of my PhD. The theory of phases is a model that was initiated by Emmanuel Amiot and Jason Yost. It is using Fourier decomposition. We have coordinates for any type of nodes or set of nodes. With this, I can project on any surface like a plane, a torus, hypersphere, Klein bottle, or you name it.
The sun comes as sweet and clear as moonlight.
It was very useful for the initiator of these models to be put into VR and realize how the model is working.
Other arms reach out to me. Other eyes smile tenderly me. Still and people's dreams I see.
For navigation, the user can select one direction, speed of travel, and select the type of cards he wants to display. Since I'm collecting user experiences, my development skills have gotten better. And I will be very happy to benefit from your experiences in the field of pedagogy and user interfaces. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you for joining First Annual World Learning Lab Symposium. Great 2 days of discussion, learning and networking. Special thanks to our keynote speakers and host Eric Hawkinson. And I want to thank everyone who participated in the hands-on immersive technology workshop, as well as the live-streamed in-person and remote presentations and discussions in VR. Take the knowledge and inspiration gained and continue the conversation on worldlearninglabs.com.